What up, everybody? What up, everybody? Let me get to the spot. Hey, everybody. What is going on? This is Plan Your Greatness, and I am your gracious host, Carlton Hamilton. And let's get started today. Today is Turn Up Tuesday. Yes, it is. All right, we're gonna get right into it. Let me ask you a question. For all you guys out there that are working for somebody or even working for yourself, let me ask you this question. How are you showing up today? Are you just showing up, or are you showing up and showing out? We'll talk about that here on Turn Up Tuesdays on the Plan Your Greatness channel.
Show out. You such a show out. Now show out. Now show out. You such a show out. Now bust a move. Now bust a move. Now bust a move. Now bust a move. I'm back to show 'em.
All right, we are back here on Turn Up Tuesdays on the Plan Your Greatness channel. All right, so the question I asked is, how are you showing up to work today? How are you just showing up, not only just for work, but in your relationships, with your colleagues, anything that you are doing? How are you showing up? This is key, because some people show up great in some areas and then they show up not so great in other areas. I want you to start thinking about showing up and being consistent in everywhere and everything that you do. All right. So first and foremost, when we talk about showing up, we have to think in terms of we have to show up first for ourselves, because this comes from a conversation that I had with my daughter. And as a teenager, it's rough, because you're constantly trying to figure out, how are you showing up for them and how are they showing up for you? And because teenagers don't have enough experience to understand, there's levels and emotions that go on into that. They fall out of friends, they fall out of love, they in and out all the time, because they don't know that people just are not really consciously aware of how they're showing up in different places. All right. So think about in terms of how my intro is on every video. What up, everybody? What up, everybody?
What up, everybody?
Let me
what
get
up,
to
everybody?
the spot.
Let me get to the spot.
Woo,
Let me
hey,
get to the
everybody, 'cause
spot.
I'm making sure that when you see this video, whatever has been going on with me, I'm putting all that stuff aside. And I'm first and foremost going to show up with you with an energetic intro that makes you want to say, hey, what's this brother talking about? He's all fired up and everything. Now let me see what he's talking about. So I'm showing up like that. Okay. Now, the other part is when I say, let me get to the spot, I'm now really explaining to you that I'm trying to get to an area. I'm trying to be consistent, because I had my business partner, Adrian. She noticed, she said, man, you have over 450 videos that you've produced. And I wasn't aware of that. I was not aware that I had made that many videos. And I started somewhere at the end of May, end of June, I started producing these videos. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I was doing them because I was moving forward as far as marketing the book. So with that in mind, I knew I needed to come with energy. I knew I needed to, just bring it every day. But I didn't realize that I had produced that many videos. So me saying getting to the spot is me producing the content that people are looking for. And the only way that you're going to find my content is that I'm either putting out some stuff. I just had a meeting with somebody as far as helping me market and understanding the algorithms of YouTube, so we can start really maximizing the amount of content that I have. So we're going to be moving in that, because my goal is by a year from now is to really be a driving force of content, and we're a go-to page for people online as far as looking for another way to think about some things. So, all right. So we're showing up, we're showing out. And that comes down to why you're showing up or how you're showing up. And what I've understood over time is, this is in my book, Plan Your Greatness. You can see it right over my shoulder. Plan Your Greatness, Life, Love, and Business After Sports and Prison. It talks specifically about asking yourself these three questions. What do you want? Why do you want it? And can you actually see yourself through your imagination accomplishing what it is that you want and why you want something? And so I believe that every super successful person has probably asked themselves those questions directly. But there's a lot of people who are successful who have asked themselves those questions indirectly or unconsciously. I'm going to put together a video about that probably next week. Next Monday or Tuesday, I'll be talking specifically about knowing very consciously what you're thinking, semi-conscious, and then unconsciously, and why we have these differences and what do we see as far as produce from that. All right, so you know the three questions. What do you want? Why do you want it? And can you see it in your mind? Now, also in the book, I believe it's in chapter 11 or chapter 12, where I lay out what I call the 9 pillars of success. Because you can ask yourself the what questions, why questions, can you see it? You go, yes, 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 and you're on your way. But as I've said this before, when you start going towards your goal, as Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan till they get it punched in the mouth. Life is going to punch you right in the mouth. And if you're not ready, you're going to look around. And if you don't have what I call the 9 pillars of success, these are 9 different things that as you are going on your journey to where you're trying to get to, one of these pillars you're going to be able to rest on, and not literally rest on, but they're actually going to support you as you go through the bumps and bruises and grinds of trying to become the best person you can be. So number 1 is you want to show up and show out. And that basically, I think Woody Allen said it. He said that if you are going to be successful, you are going to need to show up, because that's 80% of what he says being successful. But I also heard that if you show up, you get 80% of the opportunities. If you show up on time, you get 85% of the opportunities. If you show up on time with a plan, you get 90% of the opportunities. If you show up on time with a plan and you execute the plan, you're going to get 95% of the opportunities. If you show up on time with a plan and you carry out that plan in the spirit of excellence, you will get 100% of the opportunities. But as Woody Allen says, first and foremost, you have to show up. All right. So number 2 is stop lying to yourself. And I know that throughout my life, before I made the turn, I actually was lying to myself. And one of the things that I did lie about myself was who I really was. I thought I was only a professional baseball player. And so I lied to myself. And then because I didn't know that I had these other skills and attributes, then it took me down a road of depression, homelessness, eventually incarceration. All right. Number 3 is give all your goals a very hard deadline. This is specifically from Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, where he said, what gets measured gets done. And I firmly believe that you can have the greatest goals that you need to have, but if you don't have some sort of deadline, it does not create the urgency. All right. So number 4 is no excuses. That's pretty self-explanatory. The minute you get out of your way and you start making excuses, now excuses roll into procrastination. They start blaming other people. It's a whole mess once you start falling down that or going down that road of no excuses. It's no good. All right. Number 5 is master the gift of you. And that simply means that whatever it is that you do to the best of your ability, or that you find yourself exerting a lot of effort, or you just exerting a lot of passion, is what they'll say, then you're going to find out. Now, one of the things that I believe is one of the things that helps us find what we're looking for, master our gifts, is I believe we have to be down the road of something and focusing on it very, very specifically. Because when we do that, I believe we either that's going to be the path we need to be on, or something is going to come out of our kind of the corner of our eye, kind of our mental awareness, and it's going to go, hey, it's going to catch us. And we're going to go, hey, what's that? And then we're going to start slowly moving in that direction, or we're going to take a sharp left or sharp right, and we're just going to go for it. But the way that I believe that actually comes out is that when you are focused on something already. I don't think that if you're just lazy, something comes about. I think you have to be in the action of doing things before other things are going to reveal themselves. All right. Number 6 is no plan B. And that is, very succinctly, I saw that in an interview with Will Smith. He basically said the reason why he's successful in Hollywood at the level he's at, he said he doesn't have a plan. I tell a little story about Lil Jamari, and it's in the other video, which means is that you want to be focusing on what it is that you see, and you don't want to let other people get you off of that. Because in the story, little Jamari is drawing a picture. Teacher comes around. She says, "Hey, what are you drawing?" He says, "I'm drawing a picture of God." And then she looks and goes, "Nobody knows what God looks like." And then before he even can raise his pencil from the table, he goes, "They will in a minute." So it's just that you don't want people taking you off of your belief and your focus at where you're going. All right. Number 8 is don't be afraid to fail. Gary Vee talks about this in one of his videos where he says anything that you do under the age of 35, with the exception of like trying psychotropic drugs and all the other stuff. He didn't say that, but I know what he means. Is that anything that you try under the age of 35 is all good, because you should be in this experimenting, trying out, seeing what you have the capability of doing. Too many of us try to pick one thing and go for it, and then when it doesn't go well, like in society, they said trained incapacity. You try something, you get so focused on it. If it doesn't work out, now you're sitting over here, what do I do? But under the age of 35, I'll use that number, is you need to go for it. Train for something, learn something, get online. And I'm so amazed that we have so much information that's out there, which is one of the things that I use. I use the tool to learn how to make these videos, and I've done it all for free. I haven't gone to any workshops or anything. I haven't paid any money. I just took some time and looked online and said, well, how do you make videos? How do you put, screen stuff? How do you put quotes on there? How do you put music in there? And I've learned all that stuff on my own. All right. Number 9 is maximize our day the night before. And that simply means what you are doing is setting up a positive mindset of what you're going to do tomorrow. Too often what we do is that the end of the day, we start looking around and start looking at how shitty the day was. And then we take that into our sleep. And then I think that sleep, as I've referred to in other videos, I believe that's the conversation we have with our deepest self. And if you're taking all the crap that you went through in the day into that space, all you're going to do is just bring it out with you the next day. So I say be very intentional about what you say, what you're going to do, be very positive. And then I think that carries into your sleep, and then that carries over into the next day. First and foremost, you need to show up for yourself first before you start trying to figure out why other people are showing up or not showing up. And so when you get yourself in that mindset of understanding that it is so important how you show up, that you are first showing people that you're showing up first for yourself, and then you can show up for them, you are absolutely 100% planning your greatness. All right. Now, make sure you are hitting the like button, the share button, the subscribe button. You see throughout the video, you can log in or you can follow me on Instagram as I post on there as well. Follow me on Twitter. You see those links or those connections that you see in the video. Now, my call to action with this video, how are you going to show up? So my call to action is, how do you change that mindset to make sure that you're showing up for yourself first and you're really showing up in the right space of mind? Is that you make sure that what I want you to do for the next 30 days is focus on this. I want you to, every time that you have a negative thought, I want you to immediately replace it with something positive. Because we see a lot of people going through depression nowadays, and what happens is they'll have a negative thought and they'll allow that negative thought to just spiral and spiral and spiral out of control. So what I want you to make sure that you're doing, that every time that you say something negative or you hear something negative, I want you to make sure that you are replacing that immediately with something positive. And then if you have another thought, you just replace it. You keep replacing it until you kind of maybe exhaust your options of replacing it, because usually at that point, it's going to just, it's a negative, deep thought that you're working on, and you're going to get it out of your system. And I'll leave you with this, as I always do. Plan your greatness. You know why? Because no one else will. All right, Jamari, take us home. I'll see you all next Tuesday.
A young boy once was